All right, we are live. Well, okay, yeah. I was looking at my screen. I meant to start like that and then go like that. Doesn't always work right. So, okay, we're live. And as usual, I'm just gonna make sure we're live on YouTube and Facebook and Twitch, Twitter, Periscope and DLive. And I'm going to make sure we're muted on all those as well, which we are now. Make sure we're muted on all those as well. No, we are now. And Facebook usually takes its sweet time. Oh yeah, make sure we're live on YouTube, Facebook, kicking off. Twitch has got a feed going. It's already like that. And Periscope, which is basically the same as Twitch, is now muted. Finally, DLive. It's always a good boy, and he's muted from the beginning. Just double checking Facebook. No, I mean YouTube. YouTube's always a bit funny. Let me just find live streams. Yes, there is Periscope, which is basically, and it's muted. Okay, well, now that that's all sorted out, the first thing to announce is new t-shirt. So when I first started, gosh, it's a hot evening today. When I first started streaming, I was wearing a white t-shirt, because white, mainly because if you look at the Musitude logo on the screen there, I prefer that purple two-tone logo, but it only looks good on white. Put it on any other background and it just looks muddy in a way. It's a weird way. But the white logo looks good on just about any color background, apart from white, of course. So I did want the purple logo, so I had a white t-shirt. But then usually when I'm playing pieces, like let me just jump to a piece, duets, like this is the one I often start out with. Then I thought with the white screen, the white t-shirt is just a bit too bright for people's eyes, especially because we all love to be in dark mode these days. So basically, I use the white t-shirt, if you can see on the earlier streams. And then I thought, nah, it's too much bright light in the eyes. So I'll go dark mode myself and get a black t-shirt. So I got a black t-shirt. I think, is this logo balanced? I think I overdid it because I got the logo really big. So I got a black t-shirt. It's really thick cotton though, even though I wanted really thin ones. And so then recently I thought, hey, I'll just get some different colored ones. So I got an orange one, sky blue one, and a yellow one, sunflower. It's called sunflower. Sunflower, more orangey yellow. And I got 3 of those. Only when they come, I did ask for a bigger logo, but they made the logo small. So I complained and they gave me 3 more t-shirts for free. So I'm going to send another 3 of the same. So I'll have white, black, orange, blue, sky blue, and yellowy. But they, the blue was supposed to be royal blue, but they made it light sky blue, so I'll have an extra color. Anyway, so that's the t-shirt news there. Actually, I think the smaller logo looks better than the big giant logo. So I don't think I'm going to hand wash them in future, because when I machine wash them, even though I turn them inside out, the logo gets all cracked. Anyway, on to things, how things going. So are there any Musitude updates? Nothing apart from the fact that I'm getting a little bit more familiar with setup. And I got this stand on Amazon, and it's a stand for, well, I explained last time, it's a stand for a light with a magnifying glass to take care of the fingers, which I'm doing a little bit. I've got to cover my face. I'm a little bit better. No, that's not a good one. A little bit better at. I've even filed my nails today, because you've got to look at them when I go to this view. And so I'm doing a little bit better at prettying up my fingers so you don't get grossed out. And the other thing I did was I moved this camera up. I got a stand on Amazon, and it had that round magnifying glass on it thing, but it had an amazing stand with a quite an expensive quality bending boom arm, It usually costs like £50 or something, but the whole thing was £29. So I took the magnifying light off and put it on one of those crappy stands that I just clamped to the desk. But now I've got this camera on a huge boom arm going down to a floor stand. It does tend to shake a little bit when I stomp, because I think this floor is not concrete or anything. And on this camera, when I lean on the desk like that, you see, oh, no, can't see, can you? This camera, when I lean on the desk like that, it gets a bit shaky, which is annoying because it's clamped to the desk. So I'm going to figure out a way to clamp it to the wall or something so it's just solid. Oh no, hang on just a second. Just gonna, there. Just spotted a mosquito even though I've got nets on the windows. So yeah, new t-shirt. It's gonna be a different color every time I stream, and the other reason for that is because I noticed all the thumbnails on YouTube, if they're all just this opening screen, if they're all just this, it looks kind of weird. And if they're all just the desktop, it can get samey on all the thumbnails. So what I figured is I'd make sure, and it also, I can do my own thumbnails after the fact, but basically, if it chooses its own thumbnail, and usually it's the first frame of the stream. So if I wear a different colored t-shirt each time, I think it'll look a lot nicer on the thumbnail collections. Right, my regular viewers will know that I like to start with some ASMR. We are a sound-based channel after all. I just like, can you hear that? There. I should hold it this way. For some merch advertising. See, it's not going to focus on me, is it, again? Because her face is... Come on, ZV1. Let's cover her face. Is that it, right? There you go. It's on face priority, so it'll just go for any face. And last time I was having a problem because it kept jumping between her face and my face. But now I set the focus range to a little bit more narrow. Like, look what happens if I do this. I focus on my hand. And if I turn it, it won't always focus back on my face. I'll struggle. As soon as I do that, I grab a focus. I think it's designed. Why am I putting this in here? It's designed to focus on the eyes. Anyway, hopefully it won't keep jumping to focus on the background because there's a person in a picture. All right. It is a hot one today. So that's some of the updates on the streaming setup. I think I'm slowly but surely learning how to do certain things, and the way my brain works is that I have to do in order to learn, because reading about it or watching a video doesn't work. So, and also I have to do multiple times, and even then if I don't do it, like setup and stuff for some period of time, I forget it. All right, Morris, Jesus Christ loves you so much. I already know that, Morris, but I want to say thank you anyway, because it is a pretty awesome thing that he does. So thank you. Hopefully you got something else to say about the stream and about the about Musitude specifically. So cool. God's love back to you as well. All right, then what was I saying? I just got bombarded with Jesus' love. So all right. So yeah, I put the camera up higher. I'm still deciding if it's the best view, because I'll be playing like this. I think it gives a better view of the keys actually, but it does look a little bit vertigo-ish. Whereas the camera that was on a tripod below the monitor gave a more sheer view. So we'll see. I need to get in the habit of checking chat because let me see, 22:32. All right, I got that message in a timely fashion. But yeah, I usually forget to look at the chat. But what I've done is I've put this camera, the face camera, right next to the chat box. I've got 3 monitors, so it's right in a gap, right in between the 2 monitors with the chat box right up next to it. because I noticed I was in the habit, like, so I would have the camera facing me straight on. Somebody would talk to me in chat, and then because in my mind they're in that little box consisting of text, when I would reply to them, I would look at the chat, their message, and talk to it like I'm talking to the person who's typed it. But obviously, I have to look at the camera, which was there, and now it's there. I'm thinking about even doing a little cartoon cutout of a person's head, or people's head, and like with eyes and stuff looking back at me, and sticking it above the camera lens, so that when I, get used to looking at that image, which would represent the people in chat, then it would just remind me to look at the camera rather than look at the chat. All right, we seem to be streaming on all the. Let me just do a double-edge. I don't actually need to have all these browser windows open with the streaming in, because really what I'm doing is I'm streaming back to myself on like 5 different open browser tabs, and it's probably going to impact the bandwidth, even though I have a pretty fast internet. I have a fan under the desk keeping me a bit cool, because it's, despite it being kind of autumn now, it's cooling down. It's quite warm this evening. I don't want to sweat on stream, so I can hear it, and I can see it on the Yeti mic, but I'm not sure if you can hear it because we've got noise cancellation. So I'm going to leave it running for tonight, and then I'll watch the VOD back later. Oh, you know what I was going to do as well? I forgot to do. I was going to click record, so let me do that now. So wait a minute, what view do I want to start with record? I think I will go to the Musitude landing page. That's it. And start on this, which you can see now. So when I click record on, so now I am recording. And then I'll go, welcome to the Musitude live stream. So when I upload this to YouTube, they will see it from this point. Because the problem is I can only stream in 720p, but my desktop is 1440. So basic, like 2560. So that's what I want to upload to YouTube, especially if I cut clips. All right, so it's recording now. Hopefully my system can handle all that. All right, I've done the little ASMR drink. I've given you the update and the news about the Musitude stream and how that preparation and everything is going. And now I'm going to play a piece, because that's what I usually like to start out with proper. And then later on we were transcribing a piece of music on the last stream, and I hit a little bug there. But the bug wasn't, I thought the bug was the management, but it wasn't, it was me. I was typing in the wrong thing and thinking, why doesn't this work? Anywho, what shall I play? I always like to play a duet. I've played this for ages. This is a cute one. Well, you need to see it, don't you? So I should go to this view. Sugar Plum Fairy, and this is a duet, and my part is the tinkle bell. Usually it's the glockenspiel. Glockenspiel is such a magical sound. Tinkle bell is a little bit flatter, but our sound sample, the glockenspiel, is not that great, so the tinkle bell is more suitable. All right, so, and then the other part is, let's just play it. Well, there you go. The other part is what volume am I? The other part is it's the pizzicato. Pizzicato is when you have a cello or a violin. Instead of bowing the strings, you pluck them. So this one sounds like it's underwater a little bit. Also, another update. No, that's not right, is it? Where was it? Tinkle bell. Another update is that I've got a new USB hub, because even though I got a new one, like 10 slots, one of them stopped working, so I sent it back and got another one. But now I'm plugging this mechanical keyboard into the USB hub, it seems to go to sleep. That's why you heard a da-da-da. Alright, so it's working now. Alright then, so I'm going to play this piece. It's from a ballet, The Nutcracker, by Tchaikovsky, Russian composer. Here we go. And I've done it wrong. I'm playing part 1, not part 2. Okay. Here we go. This is part 1. So these are rests. I don't play these because they're rests. They come in here. Ah, it's the first time I've played it on this keyboard. I wonder if you can hear the car zooming by. Usually I turn the, I close all the windows, just keep sound down, but it's just too hot today. Alright, that's cool. We'll jump in and play a few more pieces. This is the one I've been playing every time for the last few weeks because it's one that we transcribed. It's actually an exercise, but it's for learning, but on piano, I think, originally. But it's something that's very melodic as well, by Carl Zorni. Here we go. I'm going to play part 1. Computer's playing part 2. Bad. There, wasn't too bad. Not bad at all. So, yeah, I was gonna talk about something this evening actually, and before I go into transcribing, which is what I'm going to be doing later, there's a piece of Beethoven to transcribe, and we're just going to finish it. It's actually it's a trio. So and there's actually there's 6 of them. So it's really short pieces, but super delightful. But I actually want to make a short YouTube video, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make them by just including them in my stream and then editing them out as clips later. So if I can go here, usually when you make a YouTube video after the fact, you I don't know, you take a clip from the YouTube video and you put some graphics on it, and then you make a thumbnail. And I read a lot about streaming and YouTube channels and how to optimize, viewers and how to catch people's attention. And so, yeah, one thing that's being strongly encouraged is crafting attractive thumbnails. Now, I'm totally rubbish at art, and I can't be having a designer do every thumbnail yet. I'm not at that level. So I just did my best to try and make thumbnails myself. And it's taken me years and years and years to learn Microsoft Paint. And even just recently, there's some things like how to put transparent PNGs into pieces. Even that I only just learned recently after 10 years of using it. So I've tried to learn Photoshop lots of times, but it's just, I get lost all the time. So with that, let me go into the thumbnails and find work in progress. There it is. So yeah, basically I want to do a video where I'm talking about, well, I'm actually doing it now. So I want to talk a little bit about how I came up with Musitude and what the motivation for it was and what the thought process was. And so, yeah, I think I'll do it now. And so I was thinking, what is the ideal piece for that? And I was thinking something like maybe green sleeves, because it's quite simple. Yeah. So I will use that as an example. But I wanted to say that before I even start doing the stream today, so actually a few weeks ago, I already had a crack at what the thumbnail would be. So I'll show you the process, show you some of the some of the examples. And I can't remember which one I was planning to use. So here they are. Let me just, it's on the wrong screen. Let me bring those over like that. So a friend of mine took my picture in Chinatown in the spring when it was raining stronger, which I love, my favorite kind of weather. And so I noticed that when you do these white outlines or colored outlines around figures, they stand out a little bit more. And I love this pink reflection on the rainy street. That's totally awesome. But the thing is, because I put this white outline around myself, it looks like I superimposed myself on this picture, which is actually real because you can see the raindrop. So the title is The Man Who Reinvented Music. But that sounds a bit too braggadocious. How I reinvented music. That's just what's the previous thumbnail? Yeah, so a friend of mine said it would be better to have a thumbnail like this, especially because it's going to be small. So how I reinvented music. And that's the topic of this section of the stream, or if you're just watching a clip on YouTube, this YouTube video. So we decided to go with this one. And the other thing is MS Paint, it doesn't really let you do that thing where you can have a font, which, like I've got an outline around my body helping me stand out, where you can have the font stand out. So what I did is I just made the same font in black and then just superimposed these letters over it, but it didn't really come out that well. But hey, check back. If you're watching this 2 years in the future, check back and you'll see how rough and ready the stream was when it's it'll get more and more sophisticated. But then you'll be able to look back at this and think, man, that guy didn't know how to do anything. Anyway, so that's going to be the thumbnail for the talk I'm giving right now. And what I'm talking about is really how I came up with this, what you see before you, which is Musitude notation. And really the whole Musitude system. So what I'll do is I'll explain a little bit about the process. So when I was growing up, I didn't have music lessons at school or at home really, and I think I took violin lessons a couple of times with a friend just to escape from a math class. But I think I stopped. I remember, yeah, I stopped taking them because the violin teacher bashed me on the head with her bow when I was a bit cheeky in class once. So I just stopped going to them. But she did say I had a good ear for music. And so when I was, as a teenager, I was a punk. I was just interested in punk music, and I wasn't interested in being a musician, not even playing guitar. But when I was 18 or 19, I started falling in love with classical music. And the weird thing is, it's not because somebody took me to some concert or opera. It's because I used to watch TV commercials that had incredible music in them. And I used to be enthralled by the music. And I had no clue it was a genre. I thought it was just music somebody had written for that TV commercial. But they were just co-opting really famous classical pieces. And but later I realized it was a genre, and I started exploring which composers I liked, mainly Bach, Beethoven, and Mozart. All right, I should say them in chronological order: Bach, Mozart, and Beethoven. And with Beethoven being my favorite. And so I started getting familiar with classical music, and still like generally punk music and electronica. So then the natural progression of listening to music that you love is to think that, if I could play that music, when I listen to the music, I feel a lot of joy. But if I could play that music, I think I would feel more joy. And then, of course, the progression is that once you learn to play music, if you play it with others, you feel even more joy. And then if you play it with others, for others, you feel even more joy. And I guess the apex of that is if you compose music and then you play it with others, for others. So just passively listening to music is wonderful. Everybody loves Spotify or other music apps. And so I wanted to move to that second stage of being able to play pieces. But just like learning languages or learning lots of things in your adulthood when your brain's not so malleable, it takes a lot more effort and a lot more work. And usually what happens is if you don't get a result with a certain period of time, like let's say practicing an hour a day for a year, then what happens is you start to lose motivation. And that's exactly what happened to me every time. So the first time, I think I was 20 or 21, I thought, when I was in school, I learned soprano recorders, so I bought a soprano recorder. I remember I was living in Manchester, New Hampshire at the time, and there was a convent nearby, and I don't know how I found this out, but a nun at the convent was giving free one-on-one lessons on recorder. So I remember going for some lessons there. And anyway, I stuck with it for a while, playing recorder. I think, 6 months, maybe a year. But I wasn't progressing to be that great. And I remember I did learn a simple piece, and I played it with a Japanese lady who played piano. That was pretty cool. But then, there comes a point where people are willing to put effort in and suffer to learn something with the hope that once I attain a certain level, I'll get joy from it. And once you reach that level, it's a kind of like a level of sustainability, because when you get joy from something, it stimulates energy within you. That's why when two people or great friends can have a conversation, they can talk for 10 hours and they still feel enthusiastic. Whereas if you're listening to a droning on talk by somebody, hopefully not this podcast, then this stream, then you lose energy quickly. But if you get stimulated by feeling joy and enthusiasm, you don't feel you're losing energy because it just regenerates and regenerates. So when you first practice a musical instrument, you can't get any joy from it because you're not good enough to play anything nice. And so you've just got to pour energy out. But everybody's got their limitation. And the statistics show that only 3% of people can read traditional music and play an instrument. And I should be on the screen, shouldn't I? So only 3% of people can read traditional music and play an instrument. 97% of people can't read traditional music and play an instrument. But what's more shocking to me is there's a big survey they did in America, and they found that 90% of non-musicians, so of that 97% who are non-musicians, 90% of them have a strong desire to be musicians. So that means getting complicated in the percentages here, but that means, and I've done the exact calculation, exactly 87.3% of all people are not musicians, can't read music, but have a strong desire to be. Sorry, mosquito. And that's crazy, right? It's crazy. 3% of the population can read music, play an instrument, but 87.3% of all people have a desire to, but can't. And you know what? Many of them have tried, so I wasn't alone in my failure. And they try and they have the same experience as me. They put out lots of information. Oh, hey, recorder guy. Nice to see you again. I did a stream before. I was hoping you'd come in, but it was like 4 o'clock in the morning. A lot of those people will put in a lot of information. Let me read out recorder guy's message. I really agree with that. Helping people have fun early in their musicianship is a great way to get them motivated so they can reach a level where it becomes fun. 100%, yeah, definitely. And that actually, that explains why games, although they faded, games like Guitar Hero became crazy popular. And think about it, it's just a game, but it made 4 billion. How often do you hear about a game making $4 billion? Maybe GTA and a few games. But Guitar Hero let people at least pretend they were musicians, and they had to do at least some level of participation skill. And they were willing to shell out 4 billion for it. So it shows the desires there. So what I observed in myself and subsequently in others is that if you have a reservoir of desire to achieve something, but if you spend that reservoir, every time you practice hard, you suffer really. Give up energy and time when you're suffering. And then you do it again the next day and the next and the next day, week after week, month after month. But if you're not reaching a level where you're not getting anything back in terms of the joy of the activity, it gets harder and harder to generate the energy. And it's not that people are lazy, because doing an hour a day, let's say on the classical guitar, busting your fingers an hour a day for 6 months, that person's not lazy. It's just that some people have an adaptability to music. And when they're young, they tend to pick it up really quickly. And also, they've got their mother whacking on the back of the head of the teacher, making them do the lessons. And so, but people, especially people who've already become adults, their brain's not that malleable. And they might practice for a long time, but eventually they're going to reach the point, just like with people who try to give up smoking or lose weight or buy an exercise machine, where if they don't feel they're getting a result, then they're going to just stop spending the energy. It's something about human psychology, it really won't let you record a guy. Exactly, music practice has a whole lot of time where we don't feel like we're getting better, and that can be demotivating. Totally, yeah. And I guess if they've got a teacher, a good teacher will try and know how to make it fun. But yeah, like sites like yours, where they can feel like it's encouraging them and helping them along, that would be cool. I wish I'd had that when I was trying to learn recorder in the beginning, actually. And so where was I? So basically what happens is people eventually, they give up and they go back to listening, but they never lose that yearning to be a musician. But unfortunately, they now have something else, another feeling, alongside that continued yearning to be a musician. And that is, they feel a little bit of regret. And even wrongly, in my view, a little bit of shame or a little bit of sadness that they couldn't achieve. And that's exactly what I felt. And then some time went by after I'd given up trying to learn soprano recorder. I wish I'd gone for alto or tenor recorder, but I didn't even know they existed at the time. But they're much cooler because they're bigger and better sound in my view. And so then what happened was I really loved Spanish classical guitar music. So I bought a classical guitar, and I tried learning classical guitar as well. Again, I struggled to progress, and partly it was for me. It was because the concept of you've got to memorize, okay, this note is played when you press this string on this fret. But if that string's busy because you're already playing a note on that, you can play the same note on a different string or a different string. And all that kind of thing, it confused me a bit. And then key signatures confused me. And anyway, so I practiced, and I could play a few pieces with classical guitar, but I just really couldn't get to the point where it's sustainable for me. And then some time went by, and I regenerated enough energy to think, you know what, I'll give it another try. I bought a B-flat clarinet because I love the sound of clarinet, especially like in Mozart's clarinet concerto or some Beethoven pieces. And so I tried again with the B-flat clarinet, and by that time I was back in the UK, and I remember going to the Barbican and spending £15 an hour with a teacher. But I was just, first of all, the doctor puts a lollipop stick in your mouth to push your tongue down. But that dryness of the lollipop stick, sometimes it gives you that same feeling like when somebody scratches their fingers down a blackboard. So the reed on the clarinet was like that all the time. It used to freak me out. Anyway, so but still, I love the clarinet, so I persisted. I struggled to get certain notes, and eventually the same thing happened. I was trying really hard every day, and I didn't progress enough to get a lot of joy from it. So I kind of gave up. I remember reading in the exercise book I was using, I remember saying, instead of playing 2 hours just once a week on Sundays, just half an hour every day is better. Yeah, and that's what I was doing. And so that was me, and I was back to just passively listening to music. But what had happened in my journey of trying to learn how to play an instrument is I had learned to fundamentals of music theory, how sheet music works. And I had learned through trying 3 different instruments what the learning process is for an instrument, and also what instruments are. Every instrument is kind of got a different mechanism. And so because I'd learned that, it was all in the back of my mind. And now fast forward a few more years, I'm living in South Korea. I was writing for a newspaper there, and I stayed there quite a few years. And then one day I was setting up my computer, and some days before that I'd come back to it now for the 4th time in my life. I'd come back to it and I'd be thinking, maybe I could buy a beat up old upright piano and just try again, start taking lessons. Because I often dream that I'm playing piano and I'm like madly playing these complex pieces. And in the dream it worked great, and I'm actually improvising as well. But obviously I can't play piano at all. And so, but it was on my mind. And then one day I was sitting at home and I was talking to a friend back in the UK, and I was typing on MSN, if you remember that. So when I got this idea, it was quite a long time ago. It was like 2005 or 2006. But so I was typing on MSN to a friend, and I was listening to a Beethoven piano sonata. It was a really slow one, Pathétique sonata, and because each note was very slow, then as I was typing to my friend a message on MSN, it wasn't anything important, so it was just a comment on something. And I found myself just lazily typing each letter of the words of the message to the beat of the music. And then suddenly it just all poured in like an epiphany. That's what they call it, an epiphany. And it was, when I play a musical instrument, it's about mastering an interface. Whether it's a piano, it has piano keys. A guitar has strings on frets. A recorder has the different holes that you cover with your fingers. You master the interface and manipulate the instrument, and the instrument makes the sound. But to play an instrument well, you've got to memorize the interface so that you don't even need to look at the instrument. You can just play it without thinking. It's like an extension of yourself. But the second part of that is you have to learn sheet music. And sheet music is what it looks like with the lines and the dots on the things. Maybe I can bring up some examples here. This keyboard. So if I bring this, okay, maybe this is a good example. No. How about this one? No, I don't want to get any copyrighted stuff. I think this one will be fine. This will just do nicely. So here's a. Let me go to this view. So here's examples of sheet music, and there, let me put it down there. So sheet music looks complicated and daunting, but actually, if you analyze what it is, it's basically there's 2 elements, and then there's addition to that. So you've got all these different lines, and if a note, one of these dots is on the line hit there, or a space between the lines, it tells you a different note, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And then the shape of the note, you see some of these are different shapes, like this one here is a hollow circle, this one's a filled in circle with a dot. They just basically describe the duration of the note. So sheet music tells you which note and how long do you play that note. And then it goes on to the next one, and then it's which note and how long do you play that note. And those are the fundamentals of sheet music. You read it in sequence, especially if it's a single piece, a monophonic piece. So monophonic means one note at a time. Polyphonic is like a piano where you can play 2 or 3 notes at the same time. So when you read sheet music, you look at each note one by one, and then you play it on the instrument, or you play it on the piano, whatever the interface is. So it occurred to me one day that the QWERTY keyboard, this fellow down here, the QWERTY keyboard is an interface. So why can't that be my musical instrument? Why? Because the struggle of learning a musical instrument is you have to memorize an interface until you're completely familiar with it. And that's what people try to do that, but at some point they give up. But if there's an instrument or an interface that people have already mastered, then why can't we just retask that as a musical instrument? It's not as daft as it sounds, actually, because if you think about it, well, actually, let me go back. If you think about it, some musical instruments didn't themselves start out as musical instruments. Some musical instruments started out as communication devices, like a keyboard is, a QWERTY keyboard. So drums, for example. I think drums, there's a good chance drums started out as battlefield communication devices. And even if they did start as musical instruments, they were used a lot in ancient times for communication on the battlefield. And trumpets would be the same. And so, so it's not unusual that a communication device gets retasked as a musical instrument. So, and actually, if you look at the ancient telegraph machines from back in the day, like the 1800s, some of them they use like piano keyboards with letters on them for sending letters, almost like ancient typewriters. So it just occurred to me one day that I'm already familiar with all the keys, at least the numbers and letters. Oops, I just pressed space bar. I'm already familiar with all these keys. So why can't these be my musical instrument? And so once I got that idea in my head, I started thinking, okay, that's cool. So I can read sheet music basically, but most people can't. And so I would need a sheet music that matches the instrument. So the thing about traditional music is every instrument people play, whether it's piano or trumpet or violin or guitar, they all use the same universal language of sheet music. There are some differences like with drums, but I needed a type of sheet music that would match this instrument. And also, ideally it would be something like with the instrument, something that they already know. So what you see here on the screen is the end result. It went through many iterations. I started out with a pen and paper. Let me jump to this one. I started out with a pen and paper just doing experiments. Really, I just used an intuitive sense of what would be ideal. And so let me just explain how Musitude notation works. Just as with traditional music, we have something to tell you which note in the sequence and something to tell you how long that note should be played. So let's just ignore these two here, because these two mean, we call them ghost shells. These two mean there is no note, it's just silence, a rest, we call it a rest. But the first note here is H. Only in Musitude notation, this has no meaning in terms of language, whether it's a H or a K or a M or O or a P. There's no language relation to these, they're just symbols, which is what they are by themselves. Letters have no meaning apart from I and A. They're just symbols, and it's more the pattern of letters. Like if you combine C, A, and T in that order, you get cat. But if you turn them around, you get T, A, C, you get tack. And it's completely different meaning. So individually, letters don't have meaning; they're just symbols. Just like an arrow is a symbol, like these icons here are symbols. So, but what we do have here is each letter in the alphabet, including the numbers, they all correspond to a key, a position. So now I know if let me go to this one. If I press these letters here that you see up here, look what happens. We activate the keyboard. H, K, M, O, P, O, M, J, K, wait, are we K? No, F, H, J. So if I play it, but you can also see that there's different types of shapes. So a circle just means one beat. So if it's just a circle, it's like, if it's a series of circles, it would be like do, 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 do. But because this is a circle is one beat, so this is a circle stretched to be a second circle. So that's two beats. And then this is one circle and a half circle, 1.5 beats, half circle, half a beat, and so on. And we just group them up. In this case, it's grouped into threes, but they can be grouped into twos or 4 or 5. So look what happens when I play these individual letters on the keyboard and for the durations indicated by the shells. Right, I'm just going to play them. In fact, I will turn on tracking so you can get a visual aid to follow along with what I'm playing. So let me stop that. So yeah, so now suddenly I'm a musician, and not only am I a musician, but if I know my way around a QWERTY keyboard, and I can read my ABCs, then I'm already a musician, as we say in Musitude, even before the first minute I start. So some people, they can sit down in front of a piece like this and instantly play it, whereas they've got it in their head that I'm not a musician, I'm not musical, and maybe if I practice for a year, you put a brand new piece I've never seen before, I can. It's called sight reading, when you play a piece without ever having seen it instead of just practicing. So that's their mindset, and some people are even healthily skeptical, and they tell me up front to my face, I'm very dubious about this, and so but what happens is when they play it, they can feel it's real. It's not automated. Like if you, I mean, I made a bit of a mistake there, but because I wasn't focusing. But if you play a wrong key, just like any musical instrument, you get a wrong note, or a bomb note, as they say. In fact, I went to a music publishing, a really prestigious music publishing company, to talk about a deal in London, and one of the ladies, a bit of a posh lady, she came in the meeting, and she was a classical pianist, and she was a bit gruff and a bit straightforward, like go here, no nonsense type, and then she said to me, you know, I'm very dubious about this claim that you've invented a new kind of music, sheet music. So I sat down and I demonstrated everything, let them have a little try, and then when we were leaving the meeting, she pulled me to one side and she said, you know, when I came to this meeting, I was determined to hate it, but I actually quite like it. So that was great. I wish I had that on. I should have recorded her saying that. But so yeah, so I found that people play these pieces. Let me go back to this view. People play these pieces, and in the beginning, you can see it on their face while they're playing it. They don't actually believe they're playing it, and that's what happens when people who win the lottery, right? What do they always say? They say, "I still can't believe it. It's not real. It hasn't sunk in." It's only after they've had multiple experiences of it being real that they start to believe it. And the reason they don't believe they're doing it, even as they're actually doing it, is because it's been programmed in their head that they're not musicians. But actually, they are not musicians with guitars or pianos or traditional sheet music, in the same way that I'm not a language speaker in Japanese or Spanish or Russian, but I am a language speaker in English, and I can speak a little bit of Korean. But so yeah, I am a language speaker, but I'm a language speaker in English, whereas I'm not a language speaker in Japanese or Spanish or Russian. So in the same way, I and 87.3% of all people, they are not musicians when it comes to traditional Western instruments and notation. But actually, even before they actually try Musitude, they are musicians with this. And the evidence is that a huge number of them, I've seen them sit down for the very first time. You know, maybe they don't have the rhythm perfect, like I've practiced this piece, but they play it may sound a little bit like this. But, you know, after I explain about the duration of the notes, then it's not long before they're playing this. In fact, I'll play it now. So this website will let you play a duet. So this is part 2, and that would sound like this. So I will tell the website to play that part 2. Let me just go to this so you can just see it straight. I'll tell the website, actually like this, I'll tell the website to play part 2, but I'll show part 1 on the screen and I will play part 1. So it will count me in and it will track it. But I will be playing what you see on the screen, and the computer will play part 2. I did it wrong, so I'll start again. I'm telling the... Wait, oh yeah, I know what I did wrong. I'm telling the website to play part 2. I told it to play part 1 by mistake, so there you go. Play part 2, website. There. And anybody who can use a QWERTY keyboard or is a good texter on a phone and who can read ABCs can play that. If you don't believe me, pause this video, go to musitude.com, musitude.com, and just type in Greensleeves duet, and you can see that on your screen too, and you'll play it. Then come back, and then we'll continue talking. Oh wait. Hi, welcome back. So basically, that was my process. I solved the two problems there. I realized, oh, you know what? There's this interface. There's this interface that everybody already knows, and I learned to touch type quite a while ago because I wanted to do writing, and so there's an interface that everybody knows, and everybody in the West can read ABCs, 1, 2, 3s, and then the third element of that is they have an association between those two things. So when you see an A, you know where the A key is. When you see a Z, you know where the Z key is. And it doesn't even matter, like with German keyboards or other keyboards where the keys are in different places. That doesn't matter because they press whatever key corresponds with A or Z or T or 1 or 5. And yeah, it plays. And if they make a mistake, there's no compensation. The website or the app doesn't help you out in any way. It's not like auto aim in a console game. It just it's an electronic instrument, and so it's no different from having a Yamaha electronic keyboard from Argos or somewhere, or from Amazon, like $100 one. It might be making electronic sounds or using sound samples, but it's a real instrument. Sometimes people differentiate electronic instruments and traditional instruments, and they say real instruments. What they actually mean is acoustic instruments. So I always push back on that. So that's how I came up with Musitude, and it really is a music revolution. What else would you call it if there's been a system that's been locked out the 97% of the people, and suddenly there's a solution that opens it up to everybody? That's got to be a revolution. Just haven't got taken to the streets yet to bring Musitude to everybody. Instead, I'm taking to the airwaves and to Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and others. So yeah, that screenshot is just my Microsoft Paint effort at making screenshots a bit catchy. And my plan to give this talk and this presentation, it's actually in my pitch deck that I give to investors and business. So I've got graphics to illustrate all these points. But I just thought I'd give it a shot this time and explain how I came up with Musitude and who Musitude is for. And yeah, the one thing I haven't mentioned yet, which is what's the most important thing about Musitude? And the most important thing is that Musitude lets people access joy. And so sometimes it's kind of cheesy, but sometimes I say we're not a technology company, we're not even a music company, we're a joy company. We're about helping people feel more joy. And the great thing about joy is it's not something that, oh, it's in short supply, so you've got to use resources to manufacture more of it. Actually, joy exists in potential in everybody's mind and heart. And it's just a matter of unlocking it. And one way people can feel great joy is when they play music, especially when they play duets with the app or with the website and with their friends. You know, you've got two laptops side by side. It's awesome playing duets together and then playing for others. So Musitude is reaching out to those almost 90% of all people to have that latent desire to feel that joy. But they've just hit that barrier like I did so many times. And it's opening up that to them, completely free as well. And yeah, it doesn't mean they're going to become music teachers or great performers or composers, but that's not what 99% of people want. They just want to experience joy playing some cool pieces. So yeah, that's Musitude. And that's the end of this video on YouTube. But check out the website. Just go to musitude.com. The website needs a laptop or a computer because it has certain music facilities that won't work on a phone. But we do have a mobile app as well. So if you check out the website on your phone, it will redirect you to the App Store for the iPhone or Android phone. But you can try both. It's convenient to have it on the phone carry it where you are and play pieces. But it's also cool. I prefer to type on a, where am I? There, on a tactile keyboard. So I prefer using the website, but yes, I think a lot of people like to use the phone as well. So yeah, please go and check out the website. And also, if you're looking at us on YouTube, then subscribe. If you're watching us on Facebook Live, is it Facebook Live, on our Facebook page, then and like and follow that. And if you're on Twitch, then you don't subscribe on Twitch, you follow, right? I'm not affiliated, so or anything like that. So yeah, just keep checking in, and we're going to keep doing these streams. So there's going to be different aspects to these streams. Actually, there's going to be me talking about Musitude. Also, I tend to natter on about Musitude setup because I'm still learning everything. I think that's quite interesting. But I'll be talking about Musitude, the startup, as well, and doing this almost like as a podcast where we talk about the struggles and how me and some of the team members work together to build up Musitude, and then I'll also be just performing pieces and playing that. And then later on, what I'm really interested in doing is talking about technique. Like, I was using this keyboard, and I like this keyboard a lot. This Microsoft keyboard, even though it's getting quite old, because the keys are a certain shape, so that if I have to transition to another key, it's sort of curved, so I can slide on there. But this key that I'm using, because it's just a bit prettier and more symmetrical, it's 60% keyboard. It's got these cute lights on there. It's mechanical keyboard, so when I push the key down, and when I push it to the side, it goes quite deep, and it's the other keys are at a 90-degree angle, so you just abut against them. You can't really slide onto them. So every keyboard is different, but it would be good to talk about technique of typing and playing Musitude. So that's another thing I want to do later. And yeah, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do actual transcription, which means how do we get this music on the site? How do we get all these pieces that we've put on the website? These are ensembles. Let's have a look. Classical. So we've got a lot of pieces on the site, and how do we get them on there? They're in traditional music, but somehow we get them on the site like this. So the way we do it is we have a conversion system on our website, and I'm going to do this live. So let me jump into that now. So if I just close this down, this is what we call management. Yeah, okay, you can see that, right? I'll just go to the website for a while. So this is management, and let me just move restream over there, move chat. So with management, I can edit pieces, and let's find the piece that I was transcribing. Beethoven. So this piece here is the piece that I've been transcribing. It's a really lovely piece. It's super short. There's only 3 of these screens, and so let's just search for it. Well, you know what I'll do. I'll just search Beethoven. It'll be easier. Oh no, I'll search. I don't even know how to pronounce this word. Ecoizes. There it is. So if I go here, I can see I've already made a duet for it, but it's more, well, it's a piano piece, so technically I guess it's a kind of a duet. Let me just go to, it's a piano piece, so it's technically kind of a duet, left hand and right hand, but because it's done in polyphonic music, with Musitude we're currently on in monotonal, so we have to separate it. So I've done this and I've done this, so all the way through, I think it's almost all the way through, it's 2 notes for the right hand. Now I'm going to do this. So what I would do is, we call these variations, so this is one part 1, part 2. So yeah, new. So yeah, this is the name of the piece. Let me just go to the screen so you can see everything here. And what type of music is it? It's ensemble, and now I'm doing so duet mean, you know, clip means a short piece from a piece. Single piece means it's just one part, like one instrument. Duet, obviously two different instruments, or it could be there's two of the same instruments, so it's got two parts. Ensemble could be, I don't know how many is the maximum for ensemble and before it becomes just an orchestra, but anyway, this one, ensemble means multiple pieces, more than two. So now we're doing the third part, and I think I set this as a beginner. And what was the play style? Alright, if you're wondering why it says dominating here, it's because I'm transcribing a piece of music by Dr. Disrespect, a video gamer. It's not anything weird. And alright, what is this called? Echoes. Actually, you know what? If I just go to the page, what's cool about this website is it will show you. Oh, for goodness sake! I'm going a long way just to demonstrate something here, aren't I? It will show you recent pieces here that you played, so I can just click on it there. So, alright, what was the? Where's the play style? Oh, part one. Do we not have the play style showing? That's weird. I did not know that. So I guess it doesn't matter. Play style, but I think it was Mary, yeah. Mary. Alright, so instrument piano. Key signature was 3 flat, so it's E flat. You don't need to know about this. So that's another thing about Musitude, we just don't show key signatures. Signature. Let me just look at I need to look at the sheet music again. 2. That means 2 notes per bar. Signature is 2. Range, I'm not sure. I think I'm going to go for range 2. Tempo was, I think it was 180. Right, so then I type into here. So this is how I do it. So I have this on screen. I have this. Don't need to big that up. Let's say put that there. Okay. Sheet music can go at the bottom. Or I'll do it like this. Go at the top. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? As usual. Play some Spotify beats. Stream. I've got some lo-fi Harris Heller stream beats, free music, which is free. Where are they? There you go. I haven't tested the volume, so I'm not sure if that was right. Yeah, we'll leave it at that anyway. Okay, so I'm going to type this into here, but let's see, what am I going to type? Start out, give it nice and big there. And because there's 2 notes there, I'm just going to do the top one to begin with. But I need one more thing. Because I'm still learning notation. Then I've memorized already what each note is here. But because if you notice here, this is wrong, it should be lowercase g. It's lowercase, then it goes to uppercase, then it goes to uppercase with a caret symbol. So this is how we differentiate the different octaves in the Musitude code. So I just put this over here so to jump over to Spotify quickly at some point to mute it because I'm not on the paid plan anymore, so it might force me to listen to ads, and I don't want that. Even worse, it will force you to listen to them. I definitely don't want that. Come on, minimize. There. Okay. All right then. So here's how we do it. I will start here, just inputting this note. And the way it works is I type 1, that means 1 beat. So this is in traditional music a quarter note. That's 1 beat. Whereas this would be half a beat. So 2 of these would equal 1 of these. So 2 half notes would equal, sorry, it would be eighth notes would equal a quarter note. But it's confusing in traditional music because it's called a quarter note, but it's equal to 1 beat, not a quarter beat. So this is how I do it. I make note of the duration of the note, which is 1 beat, and, where am I here? And I make note of the name of the note. So in this case, it's an E. See this symbol here? This symbol means F, telling you with these 2 dots that this line is F. What comes before F is E. Like that. Then I do a space. I go into the next note. And this is a B. And again, it's 1 beat. So I just type 1. But now it's a capital B. Why is it a capital B? Because it's in a different octave. You know, there are 7 notes. They call it, again, traditional music, making it difficult. There are 7 notes, and I wonder if I can, let me just see if I can do this. Ah, yeah, I think I can. So you can see me and you can see what I'm doing. That just means I've got to get a bit real estate. Oh, that's not bad. I can dig that. Yeah, that's cool. Coolio. All right then, so yeah, with traditional music, annoying as usual, there's 7 notes in an octave. But they don't call it a septave, they call it octave. Octave's 8. And that's because they count the next note that comes up. So that's why they just give them alphabetic letters: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, 7. And then back to A again. But it's A on a higher pitch. So it's the same note but higher. So it's not the same note. And then even more ridiculous, 7 notes in an octave. There's also 5 invisible notes in an octave. So there's actually 12 notes in an octave. But with Musitude, we just don't differentiate. They call them flats or sharps. And even that's confusing because one invisible note is both a sharp, a flat and a sharp. Like if there's B flat, it's also A sharp. And so it's a relative designation. It's just below B. It's not quite all the way from B to A, or A to B. It's in the middle there and invisible. So relative to B, it's a flat. Below B, or relative to A, it's a sharp. It's like getting a B plus or a flat in your, or no, it's like getting a B flat, a B minus or a C plus in your test. All right, so what we do here is these notes are a bit higher. They're in a different octave, so we designate them in Musitude with the capital instead of lowercase. All right, on to the next one then. So again, but because there's 2, we call this a bar in traditional music. In Musitude notation, what you saw before, we have these lines underneath we call them cradles. They're the same thing. So then what we do is we separate this notation with 3 spaces, just so when I go back to review it, I can see there's some difference. All right, then we go back, and again, it's 1 E. Hang on a second. So it's 1 and E again. And then we go back up again. And again, it's 1 uppercase B. Again, 1, 2, 3. Whoa, now we've jumped way down. C, D, E. Now this is E again. Wait a minute. Ah, okay. Got the wrong. See how this is what's called range 2, because Musitude has 3 octaves. I've chosen range 2, and this goes from G all the way up to F up here. But actually we've got notes that are below that. So what I should have done is chosen range 1. Scales by range 1. See, range 1 goes way down, so I'll definitely be able to reach those. Now, I could name all the notes in the, this is a G by the way. I can name all the notes in the G clef, but I never could in these ones. So I created a bunch of flashcards on my phone, and every day I just practice memorizing them, so I've just about got it. Sometimes the way I do it is I memorize certain ones. Like I always know this is C. So if I see one like here that I don't know, or here, then I remember where C is and I count up, and I can grab it really quickly. All right, so I've got the right one. This doesn't look like I'm making much sense right now because it looks more like a computer program, but as soon as I type in a sequence for each of these notes, I can go straight to the website and play them. Okay, so now I've got to go back and review. What was this? This was here. E, yep, so this should have been an uppercase E. And where's the next one? Boom. That was a B up there. Ah, this should have been uppercase B with a caret symbol. And then, and then it was the same, wasn't it? Uppercase E, uppercase B with the caret symbol. Then 1, 2, 3. Now we can go on. So I like to put the mouse there so I remember where I am. This is C, D, E. Remember I said I haven't memorized that one, but I know that 2 notes below that is a C. So C, D, E. So now we're at lowercase e. Whoops. 1B, lowercase e, space. And the top one, then that is because I know this one is F. See, this line is F, so obviously this is G. That's an uppercase G. So again, 1, uppercase G. 1, 2, 3. And again, it's a repeat, isn't it? So 1E, 1G. I could just copy and paste it actually. 1E space 1 uppercase G, 2, 3. Now we're going way down. So I know this line is C. So I know this is B. So this is 1 lowercase b space, and this is D. Yeah, that's the D. So 1 uppercase D. 1, 2, 3. We're getting there. Up. Oh, it's same again. 1 B. 1 uppercase D. 1, 2, 3. Now we're down here. Oh, it's repeated again, isn't it? So what we're going to do now, no point making things too difficult. 1, 2, 3. There. 1, 2, 3. So I've just copied these two because they're a repeat. And now we're C, D, E, G, E, G, E, G, E, G. How many times is that? 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'll copy these. EG, EG. Is that Control V? Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Yep. So now I've gone all the way to the end of this piece. So I close that, and I go to the second one. There's just 2 more of these. We get in there for show. Again, I'm at the bottom here. I'm not doing both of these. I'm just doing the very top one of each one. See how it comes out. So again, it's B and D, B, D, B, D, B, D, yeah, 4 times. So again, instead of typing it out, I'll just copy this. Whoa, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, got the whole string there. Let me just count this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Right, so here I would start a new line with a space in between it. There, 2, 3. 2, 3, 4. And then now we go, ooh, wow, just about made it. So here, this note here is G, so it's lowercase g, and this one I know is G, but it's a 1 G, what is it, asterisk, there it is, there. This is the lowest note actually in this range, so hopefully there won't be a lower note. Okay, and this is the last part of it. I'm just going to do these, and then this whole piece is complete. So I know what this is. This is A, because that lowest one is G. Flashcards are paying off. All right, so continuing. 1 A space. And now that one up there is A as well, so that's 1 uppercase A. 2, 3. Okay, B and C. 1 B, 1 C, both lowercase. Check this. I got this wrong. That's A and A, yeah. Then B, that's not C. That should have been B and B, that can't be right. Yeah, it should have been uppercase B. Then C and C again. So 1 C, 1 C. D, D and D. So again, 1 uppercase D, 1 lowercase d, 1, 2, 3. E and E. Okay, so that's 1 lowercase e, 1 uppercase E. Alright, almost there. So B and B again. So 1 uppercase B, 1 lowercase b. E and E. 1 lowercase e, 1 uppercase e. And E and G. Yep. 1 uppercase E, 1 uppercase G. 24 per line, so yeah, my phone's battery ran out. Okay, so that's cool. Where was I? I was here, wasn't I? So now the last line. I think it's the last line, yeah. And then we're done. Okay then. A, one uppercase A with a caret symbol. Then one uppercase B, 1 uppercase B with a caret symbol. One uppercase C, 1 uppercase C with a caret symbol. D, 1 uppercase D with a caret symbol. Okay, that's cool. One uppercase E, 1 uppercase E with a caret symbol. And just 2 more to go. So back to B and B. 1 uppercase B, 1 uppercase B with a caret symbol. And the last one is E. One uppercase E, 1 lowercase e. And that's it. There's some secondary notes there. I'm not sure if I will put them in, but so now what happens is, let's just have a look. big it up so you can see it all. So now I've put this conversion code in there with all these parameters. I just click create and it will show me if I made any errors. Yeah, this is the one I've just put in. It won't show me if I made errors like chose the wrong note. It's more like syntax errors. So if I don't put a comma or something like that to differentiate. Oh wait a minute, no, well, this puts the comma in for me. Anyway, if I put the wrong things in there, it would tell me, but it hasn't. So now, if I go to this actual piece, you see it's only got 2 parts. But if I refresh the page, boom! It now has 3 parts. Let me just pause. The only issue is it's a really hard piece to play, so I have to slow it down. Slow it all the way down and see if I can handle the power of the PlayStation. All right, here we go. So I could tell the website to play all 3 parts, but I want to play part 1. So I could tell it to play one of these parts, but in order to tell it, if I click play accompaniments, it will play every part apart from the part. So it knows this part is on screen, so it will not play this part. It will play these 2 parts. So here we go. Slower. That was slow. Imagine what normal is going to sound like. Alright, let's practice again. There, messed that up a bit. Let's put it back to normal speed and just hear how it should sound. Let the computer play all parts. Delightful. Only that's not my skill level. Just out of interest, let's see what it sounds like. I played it mega fast. Okay, how long I practice? I'm never going to get that. But let's try it one more time. On very slow. That's the thing about these elegant pieces. Even if you play them super slow, they can still sound lovely. All right, let's see if I can do better. Quick scratch. All right, here we go. Play accompaniments. Stupid keyboard. It wasn't activated. Oh. My keyboard keeps losing USB connection. Right, when I press this, for some reason it deactivates. Let me just change the USB slot. See if that's any better. Right, here we go. Right, let's go from there. What did I get wrong? I'll go from here, from the F. And again, from here. And one last time. 3 times is always good. Yeah. All right, let's try it again now. There, just about cobbled that together. Then you practice it on a slower rate, and then you just, when you feel confident, you increase the speed, and then when you feel confident again, you increase the speed to the normal rate, which no way can I handle, and I'll prove it. Whoa, that's the problem when it's only 2 notes per cradle. See, in traditional music we had lines, they're called bars. Here we just it's one of the elegant things about musitude notation. We get them out of the way, we put them under, so it's grouping, so it's not a visual impediment. It's more of a peripheral indicator of the groupings. But when it's in 2 times, so there's two beats per, sometimes and especially if it's a fast piece, by the time you click play and got your hands on the keyboard, it's already started, so I've got to move fast. Getting lost. Sorry, somebody's shouting outside. I can't keep concentrating. All right, yeah, I'm definitely not ready for that. Not ready for the big time. So that's an example of music transcription. Just to be clear, I wasn't composing in that part. I was transcribing, which means, well, was I even transcribing? I was taking a piece of music that exists in traditional music format, and I was converting it into Musitude format. So yeah, I guess that's transcribing. Sometimes transcribing might be taking a piece of music that you listen to and converting it into sheet music, or changing the key signature. But in this case, yeah, I was transcribing from traditional music to Musitude music notation. And I did the other parts on a previous podcast. I still think there's one part left to make this complete, so I'll do that on the next podcast, next live stream. I keep calling it podcast. It's a live stream. We are going to do some podcasts, but okay. So yeah, so that's what we just uploaded. Now this is actually on the website. You can go to the Musitude website and you just type in, still don't know how to pronounce this, Ecoizes for piano. Ecoizes. All right. Answers on a postcard. How do you pronounce this? That wouldn't work, would it? Because you'd be writing it down anyway. Ecoizes for piano number 5. And then you can play it straight away. That's the cool thing about the stream, is there can be a piece that doesn't exist on the site. I transcribe it, and I will get faster eventually. It'll just be like fast dictation. I upload it to the site. I give it a quick test. and then the viewer can test it. And if it's a duet like this is, you can go and play different parts. So I could play this, for example. I'll just play it by itself. So I could play the other part, and then I'll count you in, like I go 1, 2, 3, and then oh no, in this case 1, 2, and then you can play part 1, and so essentially we'd be playing together. So yeah, it's gonna be pretty cool. And there's part 3. Oh, let's have a look at this. So it would be. That's right. That's just the bass part. So that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be playing pieces, talking about Musitude, the startup, transcribing pieces. Eventually we'll bring in musicians. It might be a friend with a laptop who plays a Musitude piece. I'll put the music back on. Plays a Musitude piece, and we do a duet together. Or we could bring some friends in with traditional instruments. And they can play piano, violin. I'm not sure if piano will fit in here, but I'm looking to move soon. Clarinet, all sorts of stuff. And I can play on the Musitude interface with the Musitude notation. As long as the piece is in the same key and transcribed from the same piece, it actually works perfectly well. It's completely compatible with traditional sheet music. So, yeah, that's my standard 2-hour live stream that I usually do. I think when I get more familiar with live streaming and when I get more proficient at transcribing music, then I'll do longer streams, start moving to 3 hours, 4 hours, and yeah, the more is that Stream Beats even playing? It's not. I unmuted it, but okay. Yeah. So yeah, I'll do longer ones, but for now we're still in refining, testing mode. Let me encourage you to go to the Musitude Facebook group, where we're actually live streaming right now. So yeah, go to the Musitude Facebook group and click, I don't know what you click, you don't follow, you click like or something like that. Let me encourage you to go to, if you're not on it already, to go to YouTube. Oh, we're live on YouTube. And to, oh yeah, you don't see it here as well because I'm logged in. But you go to, there I am. Go to subscribe and subscribe to the Musitude YouTube channel. That'll be pretty cool. And of course, let me encourage you to go to Twitch and to follow. You don't subscribe when it's Twitch, you follow. Because if you subscribe, it costs some moolah. So yeah, let me encourage you to go to Twitch and to follow us on Twitch. Oh, you can see who I follow now, can't you? It's mostly Escape from Tarkov players and some of the people I follow on Twitch. I don't actually follow to watch their content. I follow to learn from them how they got sophisticated channels and stuff. But getting there, learn a lot from them actually. All right, and then yeah, we're on Twitter and the smaller platforms. So yeah, please go and follow us on Twitch. We're on Twitch. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. And we've got a Twitter account, an Instagram account. So check us out, and you can find all the social network stuff on our website and the links. And keep checking in, and we'll see you on the next podcast. That should be pretty soon because they're getting increasingly frequent now, getting more and more frequent. And look on YouTube for that thumbnail that I showed you. It should appear in the next few days. Yeah. Hey, recorder guy. Have a good night. Thanks for checking in. I'm getting a little bit smoother and smoother at this, so still haven't got a wrap up catchphrase though, have I? Gotta get one. like that. I like the guy. I like the guy who. What's the guy's name who does? Is he called Dave? He does bass stuff. He's got a really He goes, slap that bass. He's got some pretty good catchphrases. I'll come up with one eventually. It's one of my big goals there. I wonder if there's a service on Fiverr where you can get them to do a catchphrase for you. But I'm pretty good at coming up with stuff. All right then. That's the Musitude live stream out. Just want to say thanks for watching. If you're watching on YouTube later on the recordings, then yeah, thanks for watching there too. And most of all, go to the Musitude website, musitude.com, and try a few pieces. Share it with your friends. Play a few duets with your friends, which is where the real joy is.